Hello everyone, I'm Amandeep here. Today we will discuss the chapter 6 Internet Ethics and Safeguard. In this chapter we will learn about internet, the terms of internet, how to protect yourself from the threats and the role of parents and teachers regarding the use of internet by children. So what is internet? Internet stands for Interconnected Network. We also call it NET. The Internet is a global wide area network that connects computer systems across the world. This network system connects via communication devices and media such as modem, cables, telephone lines, and satellites. We all don't know how many computers are connected to this network. There are millions and are also increasing day by day. It allows easy and quick access to a huge amount of information stored at many different locations around the world. We can read the latest news, do research, shop, communicate, listen to music, play games, and access a wide variety of information by using internet. Any person gets connected to the internet gets connected to you. You can communicate with anyone on the internet. Success in today's world require knowledge of the internet. Without it, you miss the source of goods, services, information, and communication. The next is internet terms. You must be understood some terms while you working on internet. The first is www. It stands for World Wide Web, which is commonly known as web. It is a collection of websites stored in the web server and connected to local computers through the internet. It is a storehouse of information, resources, pictures, sound, and multimedia that can be accessed via internet. The next is web page. Web page is a specific collection of information provided by the website and displayed to a user in a web browser. In other words, we can say that a web page is a single document on the web. Web page includes collection of text, image, sound, and video. Next term is website. Website is a collection of web pages on the World Wide Web that contains specific information. Websites can be created and maintained by an individual, groups, businesses, or organizations to serve a variety of purposes. Next is web server. Web server is a computer that runs websites. The basic objective of web server is to store, process, and deliver web pages to the user. Next is web browser. Web browser is a software program used to access and view websites. Some common used web browsers are Google Chrome, Microsoft Internet Explorer, and Mozilla Firefox. The next is web portal. Web portal is a specially designed website that provide information from various sources such as emails, online forums, search engines on one platform. Most portals offers these services free to users. Services like search engine, news, sports, weather, web publishing, yellow pages, store codes, map, shopping, and email and other communication services. Next is URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It is an unique address to a resource on the internet. For example, www.yahoo.com. This is the URL of Yahoo website, and www.google.com is the URL of the Google website, and www.pmppublishers.in. The next is link. A link is a kind of cross reference to another web page. Means you can jump to a new location or another web page when you click on link. Links are found on almost every web page. It can appear as an icon, image, or text. The next is Internet Service Provider, in short ISP. ISP is a company that is able to provide internet access to the customers and charge monthly fee. Several service provider offers different services and benefits at different costs. Some ISPs in India are MTNL, BSNL, Airtel, Connect, DEN, Dishnet. Next is home page. The starting page of a website is called home page. Means when you visit a web address, the page loads. That page is a default web page. Home page introduces the service of the website and also visitors can explore the site further. Next is IP address and domain name. IP address means Internet Protocol address. It is the address that assigned to any computers, servers and other devices used to identify it on a given network. IP address is a sequence of numbers that uniquely identifies the location of each computer or device connected to the internet. It has a four group of numbers that are separated by dot. 153.25.15.10 are an IP address. The first part of the IP address identifies the network and the last part identifies the specific computer. The domain name is the address of your website that people type in the web browser in the URL bar to visit your website. For example, this is the IP address 216.58205.228 and the example of domain name is www.google.com. The next topic is protecting yourself from potential threats on the web. First of all, what is threats? Threats are the viruses that can lose or corrupt the data or physical damage to computer hardware and infrastructure. So how you can protect yourself from threats on the web? While you are using internet, you must understand and prevent the security and privacy problems. Privacy and security is very important when you send your personal information like your bank account or credit card number to another person. If you do not protect your computer, you could become target of cybercrime. Cybercrime is criminal activity. It is committed by a cyber criminals or hackers. Let's discuss some threats and their precautions. The first threat, or you can say virus, is spyware. Spyware is a software program that gets installed on your computer without your knowledge. It can be downloaded from website, email messages, instant messages, and direct when you sharing a files. It can also enter your computer while installing any software. This program secretly gathers data from your computer, steal your password, display advertisements, and take control of your web browser. So you can protect yourself by using some precautions. Use an internet security program to protect computer from spyware and install a personal firewall on your computer. Do not accept or open any doubtful error or dialog from within your browser. Do not accept free deals because spyware may come as a part of free deal offer. Always careful, read the enter user license agreements at installation time and cancel if other programs are being installed as a part of the desired program. Next that is pop-up ad. Pop-up ad is this advertisement that disturb your web browsing. When you see pop-up advertisement, do not open it because when you clicking on the pop-up ad, it can install a virus on your computer. So what is the precaution? You can use a pop-up blocker to block pop-up ads in the browser. Next is spam. Email spam is also known as junk mail. It involves sending unwanted messages by a spammer to a large number of recipients. It can be used to deliver emails that contain viruses, and it attacks your personal information or identification. Also, some spam include hidden text that becomes visible only when you highlight the text. The precaution for spam is sign up for email filtering through your ISP and anti-spam program. Do not click on the spam email or do not reply to spam for any reason. If you suspect an email is spam, do not respond. Just delete it. Keep software up to date. Next is phishing. Phishing is a scam in which you will receive official looking email messages. So that email messages obtain your personal and financial information. These messages look legal and request you to update your credit card numbers, bank account numbers, password, or any other private information. The phishing scams can be occurred via email messages, websites, and even on the phone. The precautions are: do not reply the email message that requests you to verify online account or financial information. So do not reply the phone call that want to verify your company, bank record, caller name and time of the call. Do not disclose personal or financial information to the caller. And never click on links in email messages, even if you know the sender. While visiting bank website that will require you to enter confidential information, be sure to type the web address correctly. Typing it incorrectly may take you to phishing website where the information you enter can be collected by any unknown party. And also enable the phishing filter in your browser that can warn or block you from suspicious websites. Next is virus. Viruses also programs which are created to damage data. A virus can badly affect your computer without your knowledge. Once a virus is in your computer, your file and operating system may be damaged. Viruses usually enter into your computer when you open an email attachment or you download the data from web. Here are some precautions that protect you from viruses. Open only those email attachments that sent by a trusted person. Delete all unwanted emails without opening. Do not click on web links sent by someone you do not know. Install an antivirus program and keep it updated. Scan all files with an antivirus program. Next is a keylogger. A keylogger is a type of software often found on a public computer that records keystrokes you make to enter the data on the computer in a hidden file. And the precautions of the keylogger are: avoid checking your email or performing banking activities on public computer. If you must use a public computer for critical activities, be certain to sign out of any password protected website and to clear the browser history. The next is saved password. When you add username or password to log into your account on a particular website, web browsers sometimes display a prompt message that offers to remember the password you have written. If you click on yes and then access the website in future, the web browser bypasses the login page and takes you directly to the site. Unfortunately, if anyone else who uses your computer can also access your account from the website. The precaution is: always click on no when your web browser prompts to remember the password. Next is cookies. A cookie is a small text message that a web browser stores on your computer. Cookie files contain data such as your username, postal code, and viewing preferences. Websites use cookies for a variety of purposes. Most websites that allow for personalization use cookies to track your preferences. Some websites use cookies to store username, password so that users do not need to enter this information every time when they want to sign in. Online shopping sites generally use cookie to keep track of items in users' shopping cart. There are some precautions. Some websites sell information stored in your cookies to advertisers. If you do not want personal information distributed to others, you should adjust how your browser handles cookies and clear or disable cookies in your browser. Most modern browsers allow users to decide whether to accept cookies and the time frame to keep them. Next is vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are flaws in a computer software that create weaknesses in your computer overall security. It can also be created by improper computer configuration. Cyber criminals like hackers or crackers exploit the weaknesses and damage the computer and also tamper its data. And the precautions for vulnerabilities are: keep software and security patches up to date, configure security settings, install an antivirus and keep it updated, clear cookies. Next is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a harassment that takes place using technology, which includes sending or forwarding threatening text messages, posting embarrassing or altering pictures of someone without his or her permission, or setting up a fake online social network pages where others make harsh comments and spread rumors about someone. The precautions for cyberbullying are: never give your personal information and password to any unknown person. Check for privacy settings, usually found on the settings on most social network sites, to set permissions. You should search your name on major search engines such as Google on regular basis. If any personal information or photo appears which may be used for cyberbullying, you must take an action to remove it and be safe. And also installation of filtering software on the computer, so that you can help protect teenagers from viewing inappropriate content online. The next is hacking. When hackers illegally accesses a computer or network of other users, this is called hacking. This can happen either for positive or negative reason. Some hackers claim the intent of their security breaches is to improve security. Other hackers develop computer malware or virus to gain access to the confidential information. And a cracker is someone who also accesses a computer network illegally but has the intent of destroying data, stealing information, or other malicious action. Both hackers and crackers have advanced computer skills and network skills. And how you can protect yourself from hacking: you should make a strong password and change it frequently. Your password should be at least 6 characters long and include at least one number, letters, and special characters. Your new password should be different from any other passwords you have used. It is strongly advised that you use different passwords for all different accounts. Next is social engineering. Social engineering is a term used for gaining unauthorized access and confidential information by taking the advantage of the trusting human nature of the some victims or peoples. It is the art of convincing a people to reveal confidential information, and such as usernames and passwords on the phone, in person, or on the internet. Human nature of trust is the basis of any social engineering attack. Social engineers depend on the fact that people are unaware of their valuable information and are careless about protecting it. They obtain information from users who do not destroy or conceal information properly. Phases in social engineering attack. Social engineers research on a target, means on a person or any company, from websites, employees or tool company, etc. They select victim, identify the frustrated employees of the target company. Develop relationship. They develop the relationship with the selected employees. Exploit the relationship. They collect sensitive and financial information and get aware of current technology. And the precautions are: verify the identity of the person or any company requesting personal and confidential information. While relaying personal confidential information, ensure that only authorized people can hear your conversation. When personal or confidential information appears on a computer or your mobile device, ensure that only authorized people can see your screen. Shred all sensitive or confidential documents. After using a public computer, clear the history in its browser. Avoid using public computer to conduct banking or other sensitive transaction. Next is digital footprint. When you surf on internet, you leave a trail behind known as digital footprint. Whatever activity you perform on the net, such as checking mails, filling forms, online banking, buying and selling things, and posting on social network, leave traces of your personal information online. This information can be seen by other users. Open the history section of your web browser and you can see all the websites you have visited. Everyone who uses the internet has a digital footprint, so it is not something to be worried about. However, it is wise to consider what trail of the data you are leaving behind. And the precautions for digital footprint: keep your privacy settings as high as possible. Never post personal information such as home address, telephone number, and a parent office address. Never upload inappropriate picture or video. Never post inappropriate matter about any person because your post is public. If you see something online that makes you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or unworried, leave the website and turn off your computer. If you want, tell a trusted parents or adults immediately. When you use a public computer, make sure you log out of the accounts you have accessed before leaving the computer. The next topic is role of parents and teachers. Nowadays, when we use technology, especially internet, it becomes the generation digital, which both excites and worries their parents and teachers. So both parents and teachers have to play their role to protect the children in the virtual world. Parents and teachers should advise children to play only those online games which are suitable for their age. Parents and teachers should advise children that most social networks are not suitable for children under 11 to 12 years of age. Parents and teachers should be part of the children's online life. At the same time, they should gain their trust as far as the use of internet is concerned. Parents and teachers should advise children not to share any personal information to any unknown person. Parents should make an environment at home as well as teachers should make environment at school where children can discuss anything without feeling awkward when they are uncomfortable, unsafe, or worried while using the internet. And parents and teachers should advise children to create a strong password for every account and keep on changing password after a certain period of time. Internet has many objectionable material such as violence and obscene photos. Parent teachers should use content filtering to restrict access of minors to inappropriate sites. Let's also not forget that internet is an excellent tool of education, entertainment, and communication. Parents, teachers should be aware that the online world is here and the only thing they can do is to prepare their children or students to become better digital citizens.